One Tuesday afternoon in October, a woman in Ohio came home from work earlier than usual. She was distracted on a phone call, juggling two grocery bags. Her dog, an 8-year-old golden mix named Sam, was waiting at the door the way he always did. She walked past him without looking down. She set the bags on the counter, finished her call, and started unpacking. Sam stood there for a moment longer. Then he walked back to his bed and laid down. She thought nothing of it. 3 years later, after Sam had passed away, she was going through old phone footage, and she found a video she did not remember filming. It was Sam in that same spot by the door, doing something she had never noticed him do before. He was holding a small toy in his mouth, a worn-out plush squirrel, the one she had given him when he was a puppy. He was waiting for her to see it, and in the entire 47-second clip, she never did. When she showed the video to a canine behaviorist months later, the woman said something the owner has never been able to forget. She said, "Your dog wasn't just greeting you that day. He was bringing you something, and he had been doing it for years. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what your dog remembers about you, what they have been trying to show you, and why almost every owner misses it until it is too late." Until 2016, scientists believed dogs only had associative memory. Smell triggers, reaction. Sound triggers, behavior. They did not believe dogs could remember specific events the way humans do. They were wrong. A study led by Claudia Fugadza at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest proved that dogs possess what is called episodic-like memory, the ability to remember specific moments, specific gestures, specific people, in specific places, doing specific things, not just patterns, events. Your dog can remember the day you raised your voice, the afternoon you came home crying and forgot to greet them, the week you were sick and stopped going on walks, the morning you left and did not say goodbye. They remember it, and in their own way, they have been carrying it ever since. This is the story of 5 things your dog remembers about you that you have almost certainly forgotten. And the reason this matters is that somewhere in your home tonight, your dog is still waiting for you to remember the same thing they have been holding on to for years. There was a time, when your dog was younger, that you used to say goodbye every time you left the house. Maybe you knelt down. Maybe you scratched behind their ear. Maybe you said something silly in the voice you only use with them, and you closed the door knowing they had been seen. And then, somewhere along the way, life sped up. The mornings got busier. You started leaving with your phone in your hand. You stopped kneeling. You stopped talking. You started just opening the door and walking out. And the dog was there, watching you go. You probably do not remember the exact day you stopped, but your dog does. Because for the first few weeks after the goodbyes ended, they kept waiting. They went to the door at the same time. They sat in the same spot. They watched the same handle. And when you walked out without looking at them, their brain registered something it had never registered before. Absence inside presence. You were still there. The goodbye was not. Researchers studying canine attachment have found that for dogs, departure rituals are not just transitions, they are confirmations of the bond. Without them, the dog does not relax. They wait. And over time, the waiting becomes the default state of the morning. They no longer expect the goodbye, but they remember what it used to feel like. If you were to start saying goodbye again tonight, even just once, your dog would not act surprised. They would act like someone receiving back something that was theirs all along. Somewhere in your home, right now, there is a toy your dog still cares about that you stopped noticing years ago. Maybe it is in the corner of their bed. Maybe it is under the couch. Maybe it has lost its squeaker, its color, half of its stuffing. To you, it looks like clutter, something you have been meaning to throw away. To your dog, it is one of the most important objects in their entire world. Because dogs do not love toys the way humans love objects. They love what the toy carries, the smell of the day they got it, the feel of your hand giving it to them, the energy in the house at that moment. A study at the University of Lincoln found that dogs can attach specific emotional context to specific objects, and they will return to those objects during periods of stress or longing. Not because the object is comforting on its own, but because it is a memory holder. This is why your dog will sometimes pick up an old ruined toy and bring it to you for no apparent reason. It is not a request to play, it is a request to remember. They are saying, "Do you still know what this was?" And almost every time, the human looks at the toy, says, "Oh, that thing," and walks away. The dog goes back to their bed with it still in their mouth. They do not throw it. They do not chew it. They just lie down with it and close their eyes. This brings us to one of the strangest, most haunting things your dog remembers about you. Something that happens at the door, in silence, almost every day, and almost no human ever notices it. Every time you come home, your dog hears you before you arrive. They hear the car, they hear the gate, they hear your footsteps on the path before your hand touches the door. By the time you walk in, they've already been preparing for that moment for the last 30 seconds. Their heart rate is up. Their tail is moving. Their entire body has organized itself around one thing, your return. And then, on the days when you come home tired, distracted, on a call, holding bags, you walk past them. Not on purpose, not cruelly, just absently, the way humans pass each other in hallways. You set your things down. You sit, you exhale, and you forget the version of your dog that was waiting at the door. Here is what most owners never realize. Your dog does not get angry. They do not protest. What they do is much quieter. They lower their head slightly. They turn around. They walk back to their spot. And the energy they had built up for you, the heart rate, the tail, the breath held in their chest, slowly fades into nothing. Behaviorists have a name for this. They call it greeting deflation. And they have found that it leaves a measurable trace. Dogs whose owners frequently miss the homecoming moment show subtle, long-term changes in how they greet over time. They start preparing less. They start hoping less. They start treating your return as something that may or may not include them. This is one of the things your dog remembers about you most clearly, not the day you came home and ignored them, but the slow accumulation of all of them. And now, we get to the hardest one. The one most owners do not want to think about, because the next thing your dog remembers, the thing that broke their heart years ago, is something you almost certainly do not even realize happened. There was a day, somewhere in the last few years, when your dog came up to you and you looked through them. You did not see them. You did not hear them. You were carrying something heavy in your mind, a bad call, a fight, a loss, a worry that had filled the entire inside of your head. They came over, the way they always do, and they put a paw on your knee, or they leaned against your leg, or they brought you a toy, or they just sat in front of you and looked up, and you did not respond. You were not cruel. You were not cold. You were not even ignoring them exactly. You were just somewhere else. Your eyes were open, but the part of you they recognized was not behind them in that moment. And here is the part that hurts. Your dog noticed. Because dogs do not just read your face, they read your presence. Studies in canine cognition have shown that dogs can detect when their human is dissociated, distracted, or emotionally shut down, and they react to it as a kind of small abandonment. The body is there. The voice may even respond, but the connection has gone offline. To them, that is a different kind of loneliness than being left alone in the house. It is being left alone while someone is in the room. Most owners would assume the dog forgets these moments. They do not. Dogs encode these specific events with high emotional weight, and they carry them forward, not as a grudge. Dogs do not hold grudges. They carry them as a kind of quiet recalibration. The next time you sit down on the couch looking sad, your dog will pause for half a second longer before they come over. They have learned that sometimes you are not reachable, so they have learned to wait. If you have ever wondered why your dog sometimes hesitates before approaching you when you are upset, this is why. They are checking to see which version of you is in the room. And what you do next is the only thing that has ever been able to undo this kind of memory. Here is the part of the science that almost no one talks about. Dogs do not just remember the moments you missed them, they also remember the moments you came back. And in their nervous system, those moments, the repairs, the second chances, the sudden warmth after a long absence, actually weigh more than the original wound. This is called repair bias, and it is one of the most beautiful things about how dogs are wired. A study on attachment in domestic dogs found that the moment a distracted owner re-engages with their dog, even briefly, even after weeks of missing it, produces a stronger neurochemical response in the dog than the cumulative weight of the absence. In other words, your dog has been waiting for you to come back, not from somewhere else, from wherever you went inside yourself. And the way back is small, smaller than you would think. Tonight, when you walk in the door, kneel down for 10 seconds. Just 10 seconds. Look at your dog. Say their name. Touch the side of their face the way you used to. Don't talk to them in the voice you use with adults. Use the voice you used when they were a puppy. They will recognize it instantly. And whatever wound they have been carrying about being looked through, walked past, or quietly forgotten, that wound will start to soften. Not because you erased it, because you came back. The leash is still on the hook. The toy is still under the couch. The spot by the door is still warm. None of it is too late. Dogs do not work the way humans work. They do not punish you for what you forgot. They reward you the moment you remember. So tonight, when your dog looks at you from across the room, understand this. They do not remember the times you raised your voice. They do not remember the times you forgot the goodbye. They do not remember the days you walked past them at the door. They remember the moment you knelt down. They remember the toy you gave them when they were small. They remember the goodbye you used to whisper. They remember your voice when you came home, the version of it that was only for them. They remember the tone underneath your tired words and the warmth under your hand when it found the side of their face. They remember every single thing you ever did right, and they have been waiting, quietly, for you to remember it too. It is not too late. It was never too late. They remembered for both of you. If this video reminded you of one moment your dog has been waiting for you to remember, leave it in the comments. Just one moment. The day, the toy, the goodbye. Sometimes saying it out loud is the first step toward going home and saying it to them. And if you want more stories that go this deep into what your dog has been carrying for you all these years, the next one will already be waiting for you.